In a strange, dark place, the Frost Monarch stands before a group of hunters, each of them frozen in terror. Frost Monarch comes here seeking something known as the Fragments of Brilliant Light. At first, he mistakes these hunters for the ones who possess it, but quickly realizes they are not. At that moment, Yogumunt, the Monarch of Transfiguration, arrives. Yogumunt informs the Frost Monarch about the ruler's plan in the east. Interestingly, that region turns out to be Jinwoo's own territory, South Korea. Yogumunt says he will head there himself, where the rulers are preparing to release someone named Legia. We haven't heard about the rulers or Legia until now. Maybe he will appear in the upcoming story. Then Yogumunt shares some intriguing news about what the Frost Monarch has been searching for. One of the fragments of brilliant light has been confirmed to be in that land. The Frost Monarch, excited by the news, accepts the opportunity, but then he suddenly grows serious, realizing they have been lured to this place by someone they once knew. As they speak, a mysterious man appears and asks what they are talking about. They do not see him as any kind of threat and prepare to leave. In that moment, the mysterious man attacks them with daggers. The Frost Monarch blocks the strike with an ice wall, and their clash causes a massive explosion. The scene shifts to a red gate in South Korea. Inside the red gate, the dungeon boss confronts Jinwoo for killing his minions. Despite his anger, the boss is impressed by Jinwoo's strength and his ability to speak their language. Still, he warns that Jinwoo has gone far enough. Jinwoo stands calmly in the rainy forest, surrounded by monsters. At that moment, the dungeon boss gives the command to his hidden army to attack Jinwoo. In response, Jinwoo summons his shadow soldiers. They charge into battle, tearing through the monsters in a chaotic fight. After watching the one-sided slaughter, the dungeon boss, unable to hold back his rage, charges forward. But before he can even react, Baru slashes off his hand and Igris slices through his leg. The boss crashes to his knees, then Tusk crushes the boss into the ground using magic. Jinwoo approaches the defeated dungeon boss and tries to interrogate him, but gets no answers. He suspects the system is interfering once again. Then Jinwoo opens his inventory and pulls out a glowing black key, the same key he got from a cursed random loot box long ago. Back then, he had not met its requirements, but after reaching level 100 during the Jeju Island raid, he finally qualifies to use it. According to the key's description, the location of the gate to the Kartanon Temple, also known as the Double Dungeon, will only be revealed after 417 hours. It is the place where everything began. Back then, Jinwoo was weak and completely powerless. But things are different now. He has grown incredibly strong. With quiet determination, he looks ahead and says, "Just you wait. I'll be coming for you." Meanwhile, back in Seoul, Yoo Jinho sits in front of his screen, trying to counter the online trolling aimed at Jinwoo. After a few sharp responses, he takes one down, but there are still more to go. Then Jinwoo appears out of nowhere, and Jinho is shocked by his sudden arrival. Without saying much, Jinwoo hands him a bag filled with premium magic stones. Jinho's eyes light up with surprise. He realizes these stones are worth a fortune, more than enough to fund their new guild. Jinho then reminds Jinwoo that they still need a third member to officially form the guild. And more importantly, what are they going to name it? Jinho tosses out a few ideas, but Jinwoo has another name in mind. He wants to call it the Solo Player Guild because, well, he solos everything. The suggestion catches Jinho completely off guard. Before he can argue, there is a knock at the door. When Jinho opens it, he finds none other than Cha Hai-in standing there. Without hesitation, Cha announces her desire to join their guild. Jinwoo feels suspicious. He asks whether Chairman Go sent her or if she was expelled from the Hunters Guild, but Cha denies both, even revealing that she broke her previous contract and paid the penalty fee. During their conversation, Jinwoo casually refers to the Solo Player Guild as the official name, which surprises both Cha and Jinho, especially Jinho. Throughout the conversation, Jinwoo asks many questions, but Cha remains mostly quiet. With that, Jinwoo's suspicions only grow stronger. But in truth, her reasons for coming have nothing to do with guild politics. Her mind flashes back to the first time she saw Jinwoo. Something about him was different. He didn't carry the typical hunter's smell. That small detail sparked her curiosity, and ever since, she has quietly kept an eye on him, trying to learn more about him. During the Jeju Island raid, she could have died facing the Ant King, but Jinwoo stepped in and saved her. That experience, combined with her fear of death and the complicated emotions swirling inside her, has grown into something deeper. She doesn't fully understand it, and she's too shy to admit it, but she wants to stay close to Jinwoo, so she lies, claiming she only wants a comfortable life. After hearing that, Jinwoo and Jinho assume her previous guild simply overworked her. Still skeptical, Jinwoo decides to test her. He tells her that to join the guild, she must defeat one of his summoned beasts. Jinho is shocked by the test, but Jinwoo simply sends him downstairs to fetch drinks and snacks for Cha. Cha is momentarily thrown by the sudden challenge, but only for a moment. She quickly regains her composure and asks Jinwoo which summon he plans to use. Jinwoo announces that it will be his strongest beast. Cha accepts the challenge without hesitation or fear, and with that, they move forward to make the test official. Cha asks when her test will take place, and without hesitation, Jinwoo decides to hold it immediately. He suggests the Hunters Association Gymnasium as the location, but then realizes it's too far. That's when he considers using his Shadow Exchange skill to teleport them both. Jinwoo tells her to stay close, gently pulls her in, and activates Shadow Exchange. Dark shadows rise around them, and in an instant, they vanish. Meanwhile, Jinho walks in carrying a tray of snacks, but when he looks up, he freezes. Instead of Jinwoo or Cha, a massive red orc shadow soldier stands before him. The orc casually snatches the tray and eats everything in one bite. Poor Jinho just stands frozen in fear. Meanwhile, Jinwoo and Cha appear inside the gymnasium. Cha looks around, clearly stunned by the sudden change in location. Jinwoo realizes that Shadow Exchange works like a gate. Using this skill, Jinwoo can even travel with others to wherever his shadow soldiers are. Cha, still a little off balance, admits she forgot her weapon. Jinwoo teases her about her old pickaxe, which earns a faint smile from her. She heads over to the gym's storage room and grabs a regular longsword. Jinwoo summons Igris, introducing him as his best swordsman. He explains that the fight will only end if Cha either defeats Igris or admits defeat. Originally, Jinwoo had considered letting her face Beru, but in the end, he decides that would be far too much for her, so he chooses Igris instead. Jinwoo hands Igris the Demon King's longsword, and just like that, the fight begins. Igris wastes no time, unleashing an energy blast from his sword. But Cha reacts instantly, dodging the strike and charging forward on the offensive. The clash of blades sends shockwaves across the gym, the intensity of the battle growing with every strike. Back at the Hunters Association office, Chairman Go Gun-hee feels the building shake. Curious, he checks the gym's camera feed and sees the two of them. It immediately reminds him of Cha's strange behavior after the Jeju Island raid, especially the way she reacted when he mentioned Jinwoo's name. With a knowing expression, he tells the staff to shut off the cameras. He understands that this moment is personal. Back in the gym, the battle ends with Cha slamming Igris into the wall. She doesn't even take a moment to celebrate. Instead, she turns to Jinwoo and demands to face his strongest summon. She reveals that she already knows about Beru. Jinwoo is caught off guard but clearly impressed. After a brief pause, he agrees and summons Beru. He glances at Cha one more time and calmly asks if she's really sure about this. The room goes silent. Beru is born to kill hunters, and now he waits for orders like a loyal weapon. Before the fight starts, Jinwoo instructs him to defeat Cha, but not to hurt her. The command is simple, yet crucial. When the fight begins, Beru roars like a wild beast, and the sound is so fierce it shatters the ceiling lights. Seeing Beru's power leaves Cha speechless. Beru draws his claws to fight, but Jinwoo immediately warns him to retract them to ensure Cha's safety. Beru obeys with puppy-like eyes. When Beru is distracted, Cha sees an opening and charges forward. But in an instant, Beru vanishes and reappears behind her, just like he did during the Jeju Island raid. Back then, she had no time to react, but this time, she's ready. She whirls around and slashes with her sword, only for Beru to casually catch the blade with his fingers like it's nothing. Bound by Jinwoo's command not to injure her, Beru instead decides to break her spirit with sheer, overwhelming power. Watching from the sidelines, Jinwoo assumes the match is over and asks if she's satisfied, but Cha refuses to stop. Jinwoo grows disappointed by her stubbornness. Despite clearly seeing the vast difference in their power, she still chooses to fight. Beru begins to lose patience. Ignoring Jinwoo's orders, he slashes at Cha with his claws. She narrowly dodges and activates her sword dance skill, unleashing a rapid series of golden slashes, but even that fails. Her sword shatters like glass. With no other choice left, Cha uses her ultimate move, Sword of Light. Her mana reserves are nearly depleted, and she knows she can only use it once. Gathering every last ounce of power, she unleashes a massive beam of golden light that pierces straight through Baru. The impact shakes the entire room, but as the light fades, something stirs deep within Baru's mind. An old instinct resurfaces, the voice from when he was the Ant King. It screams inside his head, "Annihilate the enemy." His eyes ignite, glowing blood red with killing intent. Despite Jinwoo's command, Baru prepares to kill her. His claw nearly reaches her, but Jinwoo steps in just in time. He catches one of Baru's claws with his bare hand and pins the other underfoot, stopping the attack just inches from her. Baru staggers back and drops to his knees. He reverts to his meek, loyal self, lowering his head and begging for forgiveness. Jinwoo turns to Cha and asks why she's risking so much for a mere guild test. Cha stays silent, keeping her composure. When she doesn't answer, he looks at her in confusion and asks, "Perhaps, are you interested in me?" The question catches her completely off guard. After a long pause, she softly admits that she is interested in him. While Jinwoo struggles to process Cha's quiet confession, a far more serious conversation unfolds halfway across the world. At the Federal Bureau of Hunters headquarters in America, Deputy Director Michael Connor and Norma Selner bow anxiously before Director David Brennan. Brennan waves off their apologies and gets straight to the point. He wants answers about Sung Jinwoo. Connor explains that, according to Selner, Jinwoo is one of the kings. The revelation takes Brennan by surprise. Selner has the rare ability to sense awakened beings' connections to the other side, the source from which most draw their power. But in Jinwoo's case, she senses no such connection, only a bottomless, terrifying darkness. At first, Brennan assumes the darkness means Jinwoo is evil. Selner quickly corrects him, explaining that she is merely describing the origin of his power. She reveals that Jinwoo's strength doesn't come from another realm like the others. It comes from a limitless darkness within himself. And because he doesn't rely on any external source, his power has no limits. After hearing Selner out, Brennan thanks her and leaves the room with Connor at his side. As they make their way to basement level 24, they recall the horrific S-rank dungeon break that devastated America's west coast. During that incident, Kamish the Dragon, known as the Inextinguishable Flame, slaughtered hundreds of elite hunters. To counter the threat, America recruited the world's strongest hunters with the promise of an enormous reward. Even with their combined strength, in the end, only 5 survived. Those 5 were later recognized as national-level hunters. After Kamish's death, they discovered the most valuable and powerful rune stone inside the dragon's corpse. In the basement, Brennan and Connor stop before the dragon's enormous skeleton and the rune stone itself. Brennan notes that since no mage-class hunter is strong enough to wield it, the stone has simply been waiting for the right person. Meanwhile, back at home, after Cha's confession, Jinwoo begins to notice changes in his body. He wonders if his will to recover skill is behind the transformation. Curious, he asks his sister Gina to rate how handsome he looks now. She rolls her eyes and calls him a bum, sparking a silly sibling fight. Once things settle down, Jinwoo brings up the idea of forming a guild. He says he's thinking of calling it the Solo Player Guild, but Gina shoots it down immediately, pointing out that his army of shadow soldiers makes him anything but solo. Instead, she suggests the name Ahjin Guild. It means to go forward in Chinese, and as a bonus, it's her own name spelled backward. Jinwoo actually likes the sound of it. Elsewhere in town, at her apartment, Cha Hai-in agonizes over confessing her feelings to Jinwoo, burying her face in her pillow in embarrassment. While struggling with a whirlwind of emotions, a strange voice suddenly echoes in her head, "Please tell him." Then everything goes dark. In her vision, it feels as though her spirit plunges into a deep, endless void until a hand grabs her. It's Min Byung-gu, or rather, his shadow, pulling her back. He tells her that she must warn Jinwoo about the power that lies within him. Cha jolts back to reality, stunned by what she just remembered. The next day, elsewhere at the Night Guild headquarters, Guildmaster Park Jong-soo and Vice Guildmaster Jung Yun-tae discuss the entry permit for a new gate in Busan. Although it isn't S-rank, it is a top-tier A-rank gate, so the Hunters Association refuses to grant permission to the Night Guild, since their team consists only of A-rank hunters and no S-rank among them. On the other hand, the Fame Guild is ready to seize the opportunity if the Knights don't act. Jong-soo grows angry at the mention of the Fame Guild. The Night Guild is one of the top 5 guilds in the country, and since the gate has appeared in their territory, it becomes a matter of prestige. However, Jong-soo knows it might be too dangerous for their A-rank squad. At that moment, Jung Yerim, an A-rank healer in the guild, walks in and suggests teaming up with others, particularly with Jinwoo. With that suggestion, the team sees a chance to save face and survive. Jongsu likes the idea and decides to meet Jinwoo directly. The scene shifts to Jinwoo's temporary office, where he and Jinho settle on Ahjin as the name for their guild. With that, one problem is solved, but the second issue, finding a third member, still remains. Jinho asks about Cha-hai-in, but Jinwoo says she isn't a fit for their guild. Jinho is left speechless. They still need a third member to officially form the guild. While they're talking, there's a knock at the door. Jinwoo thinks it might be Cha again, but instead, it's the Night Guild, wearing strange smiles. They've come to propose teaming up with Jinwoo to tackle the A-rank gate. Normally, when a major guild clears a dungeon, an S-rank hunter receives 10% of the profits, but Jongsu offers Jinwoo 20%. However, Jinwoo demands a 50-50 split. He doesn't want this to be a case of hiring an individual S-rank hunter. He wants an equal partnership between guilds. Jongsu tries to negotiate, but Jinwoo doesn't back down. At last, Jongsu agrees, with one condition: Jinwoo must defeat the dungeon boss. The deal is sealed, and Jinwoo says he will come to the gate tomorrow. Before leaving, Jinwoo secretly slips one of his shadow soldiers into the Night Guild members' shadows. Later, he receives a call from an unknown number. He thinks it might be Cha, but it turns out to be his mother. The next day, at the gate, the Night Guild waits anxiously for Jinwoo's arrival. They're worried he might not show up in time. On the other hand, Jinwoo uses Shadow Exchange to teleport there instantly. Meanwhile, something ominous stirs at Gina's school. 3 students head to a closed room to retrieve plaster busts on their teacher's orders. When they enter, they find everything covered in dust. It hasn't been used for nearly an entire semester. Inside, they spot a gate. One student assumes it's safe because only hunters can enter gates, and it usually takes a week for one to fully open. But he forgets that the room has been unused for months. At that moment, a crack splits across the gate. Suddenly, a massive green hand bursts through, grabs one of the students by the head, and crushes it. 2 green orcs emerge from the gate and brutally kill the remaining 2 students. These monsters have been hiding in the dark for a whole week, waiting for the right moment to strike. Now the time has come, and they are eager to hunt their prey. The school feels like a castle to the 2 orcs. One of them returns to the gate to summon their remaining brothers, while the other begins the hunt. Meanwhile, Jinwoo arrives at the large A-rank dungeon. 13 A-rank hunters and 20 B-rank hunters are gathered there. Jinwoo is surprised to see so many A-rank hunters in one place. All the hunters from the Night Guild buzz with excitement, praising Jinwoo's feats on Jeju Island. Many assume Jinwoo will be leading the team, but in truth, it is Jongsu who takes the lead. The news disappoints some hunters, while others grow cocky about their own skills. After a short while, the ride begins and the hunters approach the giant gate. Back at the school, one of the students manages to call the Hunters Association for help. Her voice trembles as she reports that there are monsters in the building and that she is terrified. The woman on the other end tries to calm her down and asks what the monsters look like. The student stammers out their appearance. The moment she hears the description, the woman from the association freezes, then panics. She realizes the monsters are orcs. The woman from the association urgently warns the student to run because orcs can smell their prey. But it's already too late. One of the orcs catches her scent and charges. The girls scream for help before being cut off in an instant. Chaos erupts inside the school. Some students from the lower floors manage to escape the building, but those on the upper floors aren't so lucky. The 2 orcs block the path of escape. Panicked students try to hide in classrooms, praying they won't be found, but the orcs easily track their scent. The doors are smashed open. One student tries to flee through another door, but an orc appears on that side and kills him with a single powerful strike. The orcs then sense mana coming from one of the students and decide to target that person first. That student, the one with mana, is Gina. She is terrified, and all she can do is desperately wish for Jinwoo to arrive. The green orcs sense the mana coming from Gina. One of them swings a massive axe, aiming to kill her. But at that moment, a shadow erupts from Gina's own shadow, grabbing the green orc and slamming it through the roof. These are 3 high orc shadow soldiers, appointed long ago by Jinwoo to protect Gina. Meanwhile, at the Busan A-rank gate, the Night Guild and Jinwoo encounter a twin-headed ogre right at the entrance. The battle begins. Park Jong-soo blocks a powerful strike from the ogre using a magic shield formed by his abilities. The Vice Guild Master charges forward and damages its eyes, and the rest of the team attacks the monster. Through their combined efforts, they defeat it. Twin-headed ogres are also known as Gravekeepers. They're nearly boss-level threats. If a twin-headed ogre appears at the entrance of a dungeon, it usually means an army of undead is waiting deeper inside. Just as Park Jong-soo suspects, an undead army waits ahead. Strangely, the undead aren't attacking. They seem afraid. The Night Guild has no idea why, but the truth is that they're all terrified of Jinwoo. Jinwoo, however, feels disappointed. He expected this dungeon to be more of a challenge. Suddenly, something strikes him. A signal from the Red Shadow Orcs at the school. Jinwoo immediately decides to leave. Park Jong-soo objects, worried it might be dangerous without Jinwoo. So Jinwoo provides a replacement. He summons Beru and gives him an order. Protect all humans and do as you please with everything else. As always, Beru roars like a wild beast. Jinwoo also summons 20 regular Ant Shadow soldiers for support. The Night Guild members stare in fear at the terrifying shadow beasts. Jinwoo, in a hurry, grows annoyed by their hesitation. Unfortunately, Shadow Exchange is still on cooldown, so he can't teleport. He runs as fast as he can. Everyone is shocked. Jinwoo actually left. On his way out, he runs into a massive army of undead. He prepares for battle, but instead the entire army kneels before him. After all, he is a high-class necromancer. That's why the undead submit to him. Jinwoo summons Kaizal and bursts through the gate. Outside, everyone is shocked by his sudden appearance. In a hurry, he activates the Monarch's domain on Kaizal and gives the order, "Go as fast as you can." At the school, the Shadow Orcs fight fiercely. They quickly eliminate the Green Orcs in the room. The students watch in confusion, stunned by what they've just witnessed. Gina recognizes the shadows and calls out to Jinwoo. She tries to go outside, but the Shadow Orcs stop her. The danger isn't over yet. More Green Orcs are coming. At the same time, in an unused classroom, the dungeon gate shatters completely. Now it's time for the dungeon boss to appear. His name is Groktar. He's slightly surprised to hear that high orcs are protecting humans, and furious that his men couldn't defeat just 3 of them. With growing rage, he orders his subordinates to lead the way into battle. Meanwhile, inside the A-rank gate in Busan, the Night Guild members are still intimidated by the Shadow Ants. Some of them want to flee, but their pride holds them back. If they return without clearing the dungeon, word of their failure will spread like wildfire. Park Jong-soo tries to rally his team, but when he comes face to face with Beru, his soul nearly leaves his body in fear. He tries to keep his composure, but it's no use. Beru kills one of the high-ranking Death Knights and throws its severed head at Park Jong-soo's feet. Essence stones from high-rank beasts are extremely valuable. Jong-soo tries to convince his team to push forward, but to his surprise, they're already moving ahead of him. Back at the school, Groktar enters the battlefield. The Shadow High Orcs are powerful, but Groktar is a dungeon boss. He easily overpowers all 3 of them. However, since they are undead, they keep regenerating no matter how many times Groktar cuts them down. It's useless. At that moment, a system message keeps echoing in Groktar's mind about kill the humans. Groktar mistakenly believes Gina is controlling the Shadow Orcs and orders his underlings to capture her, but the Shadow High Orcs stand in their way. Then Groktar notices a weakness in the Shadow Soldiers. While they regenerate, they're momentarily vulnerable. He orders his underlings forward. The Green Orcs relentlessly attack the Shadow Soldiers, overwhelming them. Watching the opportunity, Groktar grabs Gina with his massive hand and nearly crushes her head. At that moment, Kaizal arrives near the school. Groktar senses Jinwoo's overwhelming power approaching, and for the first time, he feels fear. He immediately drops Gina in panic, realizing something dangerous is coming. He orders his underlings to retreat, but it's too late. Kaizal bursts through the building walls. Jinwoo enters the scene and checks on Gina. Seeing her injured fills him with fury. Groktar tries to introduce himself, while practically trembling in fear. Jinwoo silences him with a cold, terrifying glare and says, "Shut up, and stay right there." Jinwoo apologizes to Gina for being late. He turns to Songyi and the other students and asks, "Are you all alright?" Songyi stares at him for a moment. For some reason, he seems even scarier now. Jinwoo then summons Igris to protect Gina and Shadow Soldiers to guard the other students. As Gina and the others prepare to leave, one of the Green Orcs twitches. That slight movement is enough to piss Jinwoo off. Using Kaizal as a ladder, Gina and the students escape the building. At that moment that Groktar realized that the immortal High Orcs from earlier were Jinwoo's soldiers. He's shocked, not just by their power, but also by the fact that Jinwoo understands their language. But Jinwoo isn't in the mood to explain. Groktar, desperate and enraged, gives an order to his underlings to kill him. The Green Orcs charge forward and launch their attack. Jinwoo's expression hardens, his gaze turned cold. The first Green Orc lunges at him, but Jinwoo grabs its hand and snaps its fingers one by one before slamming it to the ground. and without hesitation, he crushes its skull. Two more orcs charge at him. With a commander's touch, Jinwoo lifts them both into the air and crushes them together into a gigantic ball of meat. The rest of the green orcs charge at him in a frenzy, but Jinwoo tears through them mercilessly, ripping their bodies apart with his bare hands. Within seconds, every one of Groktar's underlings is reduced to nothing. Only Groktar is left standing. Jinwoo slams him through a wall and into the school lobby. His gaze shifts, where the bodies of dead students lie scattered across the floor. With quiet rage, Jinwoo asks, "Why are you all so desperate to kill humans?" Groktar, bleeding and broken, answers, "There's a voice in our heads. It keeps telling us to kill them." Jinwoo narrows his eyes and asks, "What about me? Does the voice tell you to kill me too?" Groktar doesn't answer. He only begs for his life. But Jinwoo isn't here to show mercy. He summons his dagger and begins. What happens next? Groktar dies in the most horrifying way imaginable. In the Busan dungeon, the shadow ants feast on the corpses of valuable monsters, like vampire knights. The guild's main healer, Yoo Jinho, tries to pull one of the corpses away from the ants, but it's no use. They're far stronger than she is. In the struggle, one of the shadow ants injures her. Suddenly, Beru appears. To her surprise, Beru doesn't attack her. Instead, he heals her wound. Yerim is stunned because Beru's healing is better than hers. After that, they all step into the final boss room. At its center stands the Archlich, a powerful undead monster surrounded by 10 Death Knights. This isn't an ordinary boss. In the past, one of its kind caused a dungeon break in China, wiping out an entire major guild. Now, Park Jong-soo and his vice guild master stand frozen, paralyzed with dread. They don't know what to do. And at that very moment, from outside the chamber, an army of undead begins to push its way in. Yoo Jinho raises her sacred shield, sealing the entrance shut. But it won't last forever, 5 minutes at most. If they don't act within that time, they're all dead meat. On the other hand, Beru faces the Archlich. The Archlich immediately recognizes the Shadow Soldiers as the personal army of the king, something the others fail to realize. He demands to know why the king's personal army has come to attack them. Beru answers coldly that they were chosen by the king, but the Lich was not. The Archlich panics, desperately insisting he must speak with the king, but Beru doesn't like the sound of it. In an instant, he lunges forward with blinding speed, and with one devastating punch, he pierces the Archlich's heart and crushes it. The moment the Archlich dies, every remaining undead monster vanishes. After witnessing Beru's power, everyone is shocked. They already knew Beru was strong, but they didn't expect this much power. Park Jong-soo decides to propose an alliance between his guild and Jinwoo's new guild. He believes Jinwoo will agree because the Hunters Association enforces a rule for entering high-ranking dungeons. A minimum number of hunters is required, and the association does not count summoned beasts as hunters. So no matter how strong Jinwoo's summons are, the association will not permit him to enter dungeons alone. With that, the raid ends successfully. Back at the school, after Jinwoo killed Groktar, the battle ends, but the real sadness has just begun. Parents arrive at the school, those who have lost their children. Their hearts shatter with grief as they see the bodies of their loved ones. A total of 213 students escape from the building, and 10 others, saved directly by Jinwoo, are also safe. The remaining students are all slaughtered by the Green Orcs. Later, Chairman Go shows Jinwoo a graph tracking dungeon appearances in Seoul over the last 6 months. The numbers have increased drastically, and at the same time, the number of people awakening as hunters has also gone up. It seems as if the world is trying to maintain balance. Jinwoo then asks Chairman Go why he wants to speak with him, and Go reveals a huge stack of guild invitation requests from other countries, all from guilds hoping Jinwoo will join them. Now it is up to Jinwoo. Will he stay in South Korea or leave to join foreign guilds? While they are talking, their car arrives at the hospital where Gina has been taken. As Jinwoo steps out, Chairman Go makes a heartfelt request, asking Jinwoo to stay in the country and promising to provide any resources within his power. Chairman Go knows that in the current situation, without Jinwoo, the country is doomed. Jinwoo thinks for a moment and then makes his own request. He wants permission to enter high-ranking gates alone from now on. Chairman Go is shocked by the demand, but then it clicks. This had been Jinwoo's plan all along. That is why he formed his own guild in the first place. Go understands Jinwoo's value and promises to handle the matter. Meanwhile, Jinho is still searching for a third member to complete their guild formation. He calls his cousin Soo-yoon, an A-rank hunter and the brand ambassador for his father's guild, and asks her to join. At first, she thinks Jinho has been scammed by some shady guy, but when he reveals that the shady guy is Sung Jinwoo, she agrees to meet them. The next day, Soohyun arrives and is shocked to meet the real Jinwoo. Jinho introduces her, and after a short conversation, she agrees to join as the third guild member. As she is leaving, Soohyun asks Jinwoo for a selfie, saying she wants to post it on social media, and Jinwoo agrees. Meanwhile, a high-level meeting is held regarding Jinwoo's request. Some officials are in favor, but one senator strongly objects, arguing that granting Jinwoo this exception is preferential treatment and emphasizing that the Hunters Association serves all hunters, not just Jinwoo. Chairman Go responds seriously. He agrees that the request is indeed preferential, but insists it is a necessary compromise to keep Jinwoo in the country. He reminds the others about Hwang Dong-soo, who left Korea to join an American guild, and says he does not want to repeat that mistake. Eventually, Chairman Go convinces the others to accept this condition. Later, Cha Hae-in comes across Soohyun's online selfie with Jinwoo and cannot help but feel frustrated. Not long after, the Hunters Association grants Jinwoo official permission to raid high-ranked gates alone. The day finally arrives and Jinwoo and Jinho stand in front of a massive A-rank gate. Countless reporters and spectators gather to witness Ajin Guild's first raid, asking endless questions about it. Some even ask about Jinwoo's rumored relationship with Yoo Soo-yeon. Mr. Woo is also there. He examines Jinwoo's shadows and is surprised to find that every single one of them is at least B rank or higher. After a brief discussion, they are ready to leave, but to Jinwoo and Jinho's surprise, Mr. Woo gears up and insists on joining. In truth, Chairman Go has sent him to observe Jinwoo's performance and judge whether he can truly handle high-rank gates alone. When Jinwoo hesitantly asks if he will be alright inside, it triggers Mr. Woo and he becomes frustrated. At last, they enter the gate. Inside the gate, they face many A-rank magic beasts known as Nagas, and the shadow soldiers clash with them immediately. Even veteran hunters struggle against these A-rank beasts, but the shadow soldiers dominate because they continuously regenerate. Mr. Woo is especially surprised after seeing Igris. Only the most powerful mages can wield lightning magic, yet Igris does it with every swing of his sword as if it were nothing. Mr. Woo is not even sure he could win a one-on-one fight against him. One of the ant shadow soldiers eats a beast's corpse that pisses off Jinwoo. He kicks the shadow ant away since those corpses are far too valuable. Meanwhile, some shadow soldiers mine the mana crystals. Watching the battle, the mining, and even the recovery of corpses, Mr. Woo understands why Chairman Go allows Jinwoo to raid solo. After defeating the A-rank Nagas, they reach the boss room. Inside stands a giant beast resembling a Naga, wielding two massive spears. Jinwoo orders most of his shadows to return, keeping only the miners at work. Mr. Woo does not understand why Jinwoo does that, so he asks, and Jinwoo explains that he does not want to rely too much on his army. He summons his dagger, determined to fight on his own. The boss strikes at Jinwoo with its giant spear, but Jinwoo dodges and rushes forward. In a single, clean motion, he splits the boss's head in two. The fight ends instantly, leaving Mr. Woo speechless. With the boss slain, Jinwoo's level rises to 101, and all his job-specific skills level up as well. In particular, his shadow exchange improves, reducing its cooldown time by 1 hour. Jinwoo is happy with that and decides to keep leveling up, determined to become strong enough that his family will never be in danger again. Then, standing before the boss's corpse, he gives a single command: arise. With that, he turns the boss into his shadow. Once transformed, the creature is much smaller than before, and Jinwoo thought this must be its original size. It manifests as an elite knight rank shadow, and Jinwoo names it Jima. The dungeon begins to collapse, signaling it is time to leave. Tusk grows massive and carries the dungeon boss's corpse outside. Reporters and civilians swarm with cameras, snapping photos non-stop. Embarrassed by the attention, Tusk shies away. And with that, Ajin Guild's first raid ends in success. Mr. Woo returns to the Hunters Association and reports everything to Chairman Go. Still shaken and exhausted from the raid, he takes some rest afterward. Chairman Go, on the other hand, is more than pleased, delighted by what he hears. Meanwhile, far away in Japan, a massive gate suddenly appears in the middle of Tokyo. Everyone is shocked, staring up at the colossal rift hanging in the sky. That's it for this video. This marks the end of the Ahjin Guild arc. I think the last Japan scene hints at something big in the upcoming chapters, which I'll cover in future videos. See you all in the next one.